Hello, ghouls and ghoulies. Welcome to Scary and Bizarre Short Stories. I'm your host, Larry Lee Roten. This story is a bloody tale. It seems vampires are intelligent and cunning, but when on the hunt, they sometimes let their guard down. This story is about one of those times. However, let me warn you, don't be fooled. Vampires are dangerous and should be avoided at all costs. Do they really exist? What do you think? I hope you enjoy this tale. It's called The Hunt. The lightning flashed, followed by a loud clap of thunder that rumbled across the sky. Jamie pulled his overcoat closer to his neck, shielding his body from the rain. The canopy overhead did little to block the water, but the darkness beneath the shelter hid his presence. It was as if the night had swallowed him up, protecting him in his evil nature. He stood watching the patrons in a small cafe across the street. The large glass allowed a full view of the last few customers, and he stood staring at each one. Clouds darkened the sky, blocking any light from the moon and stars. It was a perfect night to hunt, an ideal night for a murder. He glanced at his watch. The time was 9:55 p.m. The open sign in the window would stop emitting its soft neon glow in 5 more minutes. Moments after that, the last of the cafe's customers would leave the establishment and face the inclement weather. Jamie liked to hunt on rainy nights. Most people would scurry about, not noticing their surroundings. On a night like this, most would be running and looking downward, dodging the puddles of water, trying to keep their feet dry, and agitated by the heavy rain. Jamie glanced at the alley down the street. It was dark. He had used it before when hunting, and tonight would be no different. With the rain, no one would notice him rushing down the sidewalk. If he timed his pace just right, he would be behind his victim moments before crossing the alley's entrance. A quick push, and both he and his victim would be swallowed up by the darkness in the alley. The neon sign went dark, and patrons exited the cafe. At this time of night, there would only be a few, maybe 6 or 8, and as they left the cafe, they would head in different directions, covering their heads with an umbrella or newspaper. To Jamie, it was easy pickings. A slender woman exited the cafe and, picking up her pace, headed down the street toward the obscure alley. Jamie crossed the road. The rain pounded the pavement, sending drops of water rising into the air. A flash of lightning lit up the sky, followed by a loud clap of thunder that shook the ground. The lady picked up her pace. Jamie hurried up the street. His senses were alert and his timing perfect. As the lady crossed the alley, Jamie grabbed her and pushed her into the dark abyss. She screamed, but the rain drowned out her cry. He shoved her against the wall, hoping the wet bricks would render her semi-unconscious. The woman quickly positioned her arm over her face as she struck the wall. It seemed as if she was expecting the attack. Jamie started to strike her from behind when a voice echoed in the alley. "We've been expecting you, Jamie." Jamie turned. The two men stood facing him on his right. He heard another noise to his left and spotted 2 more men stepping out of the shadows. A small light over a door illuminated, and there stood Jamie in the light, surrounded by 4 men. "Who are you?" Jamie snapped. "This is none of your business, so if I were you, I'd move on." "You're not them," said the woman Jamie had pinned against the wall. For a moment, Jamie had forgotten about her. "You don't know who you're dealing with," mocked Jamie, glancing at the men. "Leave now, and I'll let you live. You don't scare me." One of the men laughed. "It's not us you need to be afraid of, Jamie. It's Mary, the woman you had pinned against the wall." Jamie looked confused. Mary fished a bottle from her purse and squirted the liquid on the back of Jamie's head. Jamie let out a terrifying scream and turned to face Mary. You poured holy water on me? The light reflected off a wooden stake as Mary thrust it deep into Jamie's heart. She stepped to one side as Jamie glanced at the stake. With a violent push, one of the men shoved Jamie into the brick wall, sending the wood deeper into Jamie's heart. Jamie turned his head and stared at Mary in disbelief. That's for my sister Ruby, Mary shouted. You turned her last year. I had to put her down, and now I've killed the man that made her a blood-sucking vampire. Jamie burst into flames, sending fire, smoke, and ash into the air. It's done, Mary said, flashing a smile. Come on, boys. We've got more vampires to kill. I hope you enjoyed this scary and bizarre short story. This might be a true tale, or maybe not. I've never seen a vampire, and hopefully it'll stay that way. However, there are those out there that say they really do exist. I hope I never get bitten by one of these bloodsuckers, as they can't stand the sunshine. And I will tell you, if I turn into a vampire, it's really going to mess up my golf game. I have a terrible time playing during the day. I don't think playing at night will improve my game. Who knows? It might. I hope you enjoyed this scary and bizarre short story. If you would, please subscribe and give this story a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. As always, thank you for visiting my channel.